Currently, VA has 4 sign-in account options: Login.gov, ID.me, MyHealthyVet, and DS Logon. We're transitioning down to 2 sign-in account options in 2025. That's Login.gov and ID.me. So one of the first questions we get asked is, why is VA making this change? Well, first off, for many years, veterans have asked VA to simplify the sign-in experience. Over the long term, going from 4 accounts to 2 provides a simpler experience. But it's not just simplicity. Both ID.me and Login.gov help us to continue to meet requirements for improved federal security standards and, very importantly, to protect your and all veterans' identities and benefits from scammers.
Right now, you have 4 sign-in options: MyHealthyVet, DS Logon, ID.me, and Login.gov. We're going to be removing 2 of those options in 2025, MyHealthyVet user ID and password after January 31st, and DS Logon username and password after September 30th. So we have a little more time for that one. I do want to be clear very quickly that the MyHealthyVet health portal itself is not going away. We're just changing the way veterans sign into it by removing that one username and password for MyHealthyVet. And we're doing that for 2 reasons. The first is that veterans have asked us many times over the years to reduce the number of sign-in options that they need to choose from. So not needing, there's lots of confusion between, why do I need 4 different options to sign in? So we're taking that down to 2. And the second and even more important reason is, as you mentioned in your intro, Ron, to protect veterans' information and their benefits and meet the latest security standards for federal government. And Login.gov and ID.me together meet those goals and requirements. So those are the 2 options that allow us to meet all of those different goals of reducing the options and also meeting the security standards. And because many agencies across government are moving to Login.gov and ID.me as their sign-in options, this also allows veterans to use these accounts to manage their government benefits online across different agencies, like Social Security, for example, or IRS. We've gotten a lot of questions about the why now, because it's true, as you mentioned, that these accounts can be difficult to get. And digital identity verification is an incredibly complex process by design to protect against fraud. And the sign-in providers are always evolving their systems to keep ahead of scammers. The problem, of course, is that complexity makes it harder for people to get verified. And adding the multi-factor authentication adds another hurdle for sign-in. But we need to do this anyway, and we need to do it soon, because the fact is that scammers aren't waiting to keep evolving their ways of trying to steal veterans' benefits and identities. So we can't wait to evolve the ways that we're protecting the veterans that we're here to serve.
When do veterans need to worry about this? What are some of the dates that they need to know?
You only need to pay attention to the January 31st deadline if you're actively using VA's online tools now and you only have a MyHealthyVet user ID and password. So if that's the case and that's the only account that you're using today, you'll want to try and set up your new Login.gov or ID.me account by January 31st. And then conversely, if you're using DS Logon, you would want to do the same by the end of September 2025 when we remove that option. But we do want to make sure that folks know that while we're removing those options on those dates, you're not going to lose any data or benefits if you do not make it, to getting an account by that deadline. You can get a Login.gov or an ID.me account at any time after that as well. And as soon as you get that new account set up, you can start managing your care and benefits online again. So no data will go away. Everything will be there just as you left it. And then veterans can, of course, always refill their prescriptions with our automated refill line, manage other health and benefits needs by phone or in person.
They asked, how do you choose? Do you want a Login.gov or an ID.me account? How does a veteran choose to get between the 2?
That's a great question, Ron. I just want to talk a little bit about the distinction between Login.gov and ID.me. So Login.gov is our government's one account provider for the VA and other government benefits and services. That means that the General Services Administration creates and maintains accounts. ID.me is a non-government account provider that contracts with the government and non-government organizations, and they maintain veterans accounts. So sometimes we find that just explaining those 2 distinctions help folks determine what provider they want to go with. as Danielle said, many federal agencies utilize both providers, so they are shared across many agencies. Both of the accounts meet those modern security standards and protect their data so that only veterans are accessing the data that they've shared, and both allow for a single secure account to access VA benefits and, again, other shared benefits across other federal agencies. What we really find is many veterans will select the account that feels like it makes more sense for them. For example, for veterans who have a variety of ID requirements, each of these providers has a little different flavor of IDs that they accept. Login.gov, you must have a driver's license or a state ID from one of the 50 states in order to set up for your account. ID.me accepts other additional identity documents like passports and other documents. So sometimes it comes down to the documents that folks have, but we've got lots of great guides and resources online to help folks identify which one might be the best account for them based on their circumstance.
How will a veteran go about creating an account, Jeanette?
Absolutely. So you'll need to start either by going to va.gov or the VA Health and Benefits mobile app and select Sign In. And to create a new account for either of these two providers, you do need an email address that only you have access to and only you use. And you'll need to create a unique password that includes anywhere from 8 to 12 characters. ID.me's requirement is a minimum of 8 characters. Login.gov's requirement is a little bit longer at 12 characters. So you'll use your email, you'll create your password, and then for each provider, you will need to set up multi-factor authentication on your account. So that's either getting a text message code, a phone code, using a pass key. There are lots of different MFA options available for both Login.gov and ID.me. And the first time you use your brand new account to manage your VA health or benefits information online, you will need to do the identity verification process for each provider. For that, you will need something like your driver's license and other state-issued ID. You'll need to know your Social Security number, and you need to have a U.S. phone number. If you're using Login.gov, you can utilize an international phone number for ID.me. If you don't have a U.S. phone number and you want to use Login.gov, Login.gov can verify veterans by mail by sending their verification to their U.S. mailing address.
What do I do if I don't have a current unexpired driver's license or state ID? What are some options that I have there?
Yep. So if you don't have a current unexpired driver's license or state ID, you will want to choose ID.me. And Login.gov, as Jeanette mentioned, only accepts current unexpired state-issued driver's license or other state IDs. But ID.me accepts licenses that are expired within the past year. So as long as your license is not expired beyond that point, you should be able to use it in the self-service option online. ID.me also accepts passports as well as other ID documents as well. So if you don't have a driver's license, state ID, or passport, you'll need to verify with ID.me, and you will need to use either the video call option or the in-person option at a participating UPS store.
What do I do if I don't have a phone number in my name?
Yep. So a phone number on a plan that's in your name is one of the factors that both Login.gov and ID.me use to verify your identity. So again, you have two choices here. One, most veterans in this situation choose ID.me because you can still complete the process online. If you don't have a phone number in a plan that's in your name, you will need to go through the video call process that I mentioned earlier with ID.me. And what that basically consists of is a brief video call with a trusted agent from ID.me who will ask you to show some documents, ask you some information, make sure it's really you that's setting up your account. And it typically doesn't take more than a few minutes. So you'll start the verification process online and then choose the verify in a video call option. And you'll need to upload a few documents ahead of the call. During that process, the ID.me will walk you through which documents that you'll need. But in general, those are documents like a Social Security card, a utility bill, an SSA 1099, a vehicle registration, auto insurance card, or a home statement with, a document that has your full name and full information like that. So it's typical of, if you go to apply for a driver's license or a passport, you need kind of those secondary documents there. For veterans who do want to get a Login.gov account, you can still get one, but you do need to choose the verify by mail option once you've created your account and you're starting to go through that verification process online. You would choose the verify by mail option, and Login.gov will send you a letter in the mail with instructions on how to complete the verification. So there is still that option, but it does take a little longer. You have to wait for that letter in the mail.
If people are having trouble doing this online, what are their options for in-person verification? I know you guys have been traveling all over the country and meeting with veterans at VAMCs and things like that. What are the options for in-person verification?
So each account that we have offers a different option for verifying your identity online. So for Login.gov, they partner with the United States Postal Service to offer in-person identity verification at over 18,000 participating USPS locations across the country. So veterans can choose from the start to identify themselves in person at one of these participating post offices. They fill in a bunch of information. They'll generate a barcode. They bring that barcode and their identification documents to a USPS location that participates in in-person verification for Login.gov, and they can get verified there in person. Also, if a veteran starts the self-service process and is unable to get through that process, they can also verify their identity in person if they've failed that self-service process. So that will be an automatic backup as well. ID.me recently launched a US UPS pilot for all VA veterans to be able to go into a participating UPS location, either as a walk-in or via appointment, to get verified for ID.me at a UPS location. So in that circumstance, a veteran would go in, they would bring their documentation, and there are trained UPS staff who are there who can help them get verified effectively over this device that helps them get connected on a video call with an ID.me trusted referee agent. So we find that's a really great option for veterans who don't have very much access to technology or may not have a cell phone or the ability to do this from a home computer. They can walk right into a participating UPS location to get identity verified for ID.me.
What should veterans do if they do not have a smartphone to do this process?
Yeah, so pretty similar. So you can, I just want to be clear, if you don't have a smartphone, you can still utilize something like a flip phone to get your multi-factor authentication code. So you'll be able to use the phone that you have, whether it's a flip phone or a landline, to be able to sign into your account. But again, for the options, for either option, you will need some device to be able to create your account and kickstart that verification process. But we do recommend that folks who don't have a smartphone, I find in my time that many veterans have a flip phone and come into a VAMC with a computer or a tablet. We can help them get verified on the device that they do come in with and use the online option. If that's not the case, again, Login.gov, veterans can identify in person at a participating USPS location. And for ID.me, veterans can either get connected to an ID.me trusted referee agent on a tablet or a computer, laptop, another device, or they can utilize the in-person UPS verification process.
People ask, I don't have a social security card. Can I still get verified without social security card?
Yes. So if you have a phone with a plan in your name and a valid ID, like a driver's license, a passport, or a state-issued ID, you actually shouldn't need a social security a social security card at all. You should be able to use your ID and your information to get through the self-service option online. If you do need to verify your identity on a video call for ID.me or in person, you will need documentation to prove your social security number. But this doesn't have to be your social security card. You could use other documents like your DD-214, your NGB-22, your W-2, your SSA 1099, a pay stub, or a bank loan or financial document that has your full name and social security number on it. So there's a variety of options that ID.me, for example, does accept to prove your social security number if you do have to go through that video call route.
Where can veterans go to get support if they're having trouble creating there's a spot that they can go to get direct support?
Yes, absolutely. So first, I would say as we mentioned, there's a lot of guidance on VA.gov. We have step-by-step guides, a lot of answers to questions about common issues. So I would definitely encourage that route to see, if those things help. But the best way to get support is to submit an online support ticket directly with the sign-in service provider. So with Login.gov or ID.me, because they are able to help directly with each unique situation. So for Login.gov, you can go to www.login.gov/contact. And you can scroll to the section for submitting a help ticket, and that will ask you questions about, what the situation is that you're dealing with. So if you start to run into problems, you're getting errors or things like that, that's definitely the best route to go to get that direct support. For ID.me, you can also submit a support ticket online. You can go to help.id.me and scroll to the contact support button to submit a ticket there. Some similar process there. And then the support team for Login.gov or ID.me will reach out to you to talk to you about your specific issue and help you with that. And we have found, Jeanette and I both, as we've been helping veterans across the country, have found the support to be very helpful once you connect, because they can kind of see into your account and help you figure out your specific situation. VA is also holding in-person support sessions as much as we can across the country, so keep a watch out for those from your local VA locations as well.